Here's a chart of the top 25 WNBA rookies ever, based on their essential stats in their first month in the WNBA. You can see a lot of great names like Kelsey Mitchell or Aja Wilson. You have new stars like Angel Reese. Your top 10 has some of the GOATs, Tina Charles, Brandon Stewart, and Candace Parker. And at the very top, beating every single rookie in their first month by almost 80 points, is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin entered the WNBA after having the greatest college basketball career ever. And she just arguably had the greatest first month to start an WNBA career ever. But you would not know that by the way the media is covering Caitlin Clark. She has been used as a political weapon more than a basketball player. And to us fans who actually enjoy the game of basketball, it has left us scratching our head, wondering, how good is Caitlin Clark actually? Let's play a game. Name me 5 WNBA players not named Caitlin Clark. Go. I'll give you a minute. For some of you, this was easy. For others, you probably named Angel Reese, maybe Kennedy Carter, or even Dejanay Carrington. All women who have been connected to Caitlin Clark. I'm not here to condemn you, because unless you actually watch the WNBA, these are the only players that the media tells you about. Caitlin has been used as a weapon to push political agendas and flat out racism. The media coverage around her is absolutely pointless. It's just dumb conversations with no point at all, and overall it's just a whole bunch of yapping. I can confidently say, in all my years of watching sports media, these are the worst sports takes I have ever seen. Like, we legitimately have people going on their platform saying that Caitlin Clark is having a harder time in the WNBA than Jackie Robinson did in the MLB. Just brain dead takes. I'm gonna be real, I'm really tired of the Caitlin Clark discourse. Because it's not about basketball, which is her actual job. And I'm not gonna spend my entire video talking about Caitlin Clark and how she's being treated in the WNBA, because honestly, I don't wanna spend my time speaking on that. And that's what you came here for. That's not what this video is about. Let's talk about basketball and how good Caitlin Clark is actually. Coming into the WNBA, Caitlin Clark was praised for her great scoring. In her senior year, she averaged 31.6 points a game and became the all-time leading scorer of both men's and women's college basketball. She is the greatest college basketball scorer we have ever seen. But she still has some very glaring flaws in her game that has not been fixed yet in the WNBA. A big problem that Caitlin had in the national championship game was her inability to switch things up. The scouting report on Caitlin the entire year read, if she goes left, she is shooting. And if she goes right, she is driving. That has reigned true in the WNBA also. Caitlin refuses to go left off the dribble. And I kid you not, I don't think I've ever seen her make a left-handed layup. Like this play right here, she makes a move to the rim and has a wide open left-handed layup. Instead, she decides to make the shot harder and does not even protect the ball by shooting a reverse right-handed layup. This play might look like a highlight for Caitlin, but it was completely unnecessary and actually shines a light on a bigger issue in her game. This next play literally makes me want to pull my hair out. Caitlin has a wide open left-handed layup, and instead of just going to the basket, she shoots up the worst right-hand floater I've ever seen. If we just pause right here, there's no reason you should blow this layup. Why in the world are you shooting a right-handed floater when a left-handed layup is right there? There's so many other examples of her doing this exact thing, which brings me to my second problem with her game, is her in-between game, or lack thereof. I criticized her earlier for settling for floaters, but there's a time and a place where a floater is needed. This play right here, she makes the right read to settle for a floater right inside the free throw line, although she misses it long. That play is a rarity because most times we see Clark end up in situations like this, where she gets too deep into the paint and either passes it out or shoots a terrible fadeaway jump shot. She way too often gets herself stuck in the paint looking for help. This has also led her to leading the league in turnovers at 5.5 turnovers a game. Caitlin's inability to take care of the ball has been a deterrent to her favorite team. Here you see Caitlin not trusting her left hand and leads to an ill-advised pass to the corner and a turnover. Or this play where Carrington cuts her off and her lack of a mid-range shot forces a turnover. Now despite Caitlin having glaring issues in her game, she still had one of the best months we've ever seen of a rookie ever. She's also the fastest rookie to hit 200 points and assists in league history. She became the first rookie ever to score at least 30 points and have 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals, and 3 blocks in a game. She's one of only 4 players in the entire WNBA to achieve those stats. So Caitlin has been great, it's not all been bad. As much as I blamed her for driving to the rim and not finishing with her left hand, she has actually been surprisingly great driving to her right hand. She's been really aggressive getting to the free throw line this year and is top 10 in total free throws this season. On this play right here, you see Clark make a quick move around Rickea Jackson and drives and finishes over the top of one of the best shot blockers in the entire league, Cameron Brink. On this next play, we see Caitlin take Carrington to the rim and lowers her shoulder to finish with a tough layup. This is a great sign to me because the WNBA players have been extremely physical with her, and I love to see her getting physical right back with them. There's also one more thing that Caitlin has done pretty well this year that I don't think anyone is talking about, and I definitely didn't see this from her in Iowa. And that would be her effort on the defensive end. Now, Caitlin's not a lockdown defender in any sort of the imagination, but she's actually done a really good job protecting the rim. Like this play right here, she does her best Victor Wembanyama impression and comes up with a weak side block. She is second in blocks for all rookies this season with a total of 11 blocks. This commitment on the defensive end has been a nice surprise for Caitlin. And of course, we can't talk about Caitlin Clark without talking about her 3-pointers. And I'm gonna be real with you, there's not much to really break down here because she's just filthy. Snatch back, behind the back, step back 3. Cash. Hezzy, behind the back, step back 3. Cash. Loses the ball, crossover, step back 3 from the logo, cash. Caitlin Clark, if she can do one thing right, it is make some insane 3-pointers. She's averaging the most 3-pointers ever by a rookie in the WNBA, but it's not up to Caitlin Clark's standards. There's been a significant drop in her 3-point percentage from her college game to her WNBA stats. Caitlin was shooting 13 threes a game at a 37% clip in college, and has seen a big drop, only taking 8 threes a game and barely making 2 of them at a 32% clip. She is shooting less threes per game at a worse percentage. You can credit that to a lot of different things, like the full court defense she faces every night or the height of the players guarding her. But I think the biggest factor of why we've seen Caitlin not be able to shoot at the same clip in the WNBA as she did in college is because of her legs. Let me explain. See, Caitlin led her Iowa Hawkeyes team to their second straight college basketball championship. That game was on April 7th of 2024. She then played her first WNBA preseason game on May 3rd of the same year. Less than 1 month after she was playing in a championship game, Caitlin Clark was thrown into the WNBA. No time for rest, to see family, or just recover her legs from the brutal season. Especially for someone who shoots threes from the half court. Her legs are extremely important to her style of play. However, this is normal for women's basketball. All the great players have dealt with it before, Brandon Stewart to Myra Moore to Angel Wilson. But what is not normal is the schedule that the Fever had to begin this season. The Fever started the year off with one of the hardest schedules the WNBA has seen in decades. Only once since 2007 has a WNBA team played 11 games in a 20-day stretch, which is what the Fever did the first month of this season. It legitimately felt like the Fever played every single night in May. I kid you not. I would literally turn on the TV every day and I'm like, are the Fever on again? Caitlin's playing again? She just played. It was ridiculous. And of those 11 games, it wasn't like they were playing scrubs. They were against some of the hardest teams in the WNBA. Her first 4 games of the season were against the Connecticut Sun and the New York Liberty, the 2 top teams in the WNBA so far. The Fever also had 2 back-to-backs in this 3-week span. Caitlin has been thrown in the most brutal schedule the league has ever seen and still is playing at an all-star level. As I kept watching these games, I noticed a pattern that due to her brutal schedule, she just looked terrible some nights. Her shot was off, she was turning the ball over, and overall she just looked frustrated on the court. Like when she played against the New York Liberty on the back end of a back-to-back and she scored 3 points the entire game. So then I got to wondering, is there a correlation between Caitlin Clark's performance on the court and the amount of days that she gets rest? And indeed, there was. This chart right here shows how Caitlin Clark has performed based on the days of rest she has had. As you can see, the more she rests, the better she shoots, even shooting as high as 45% from 3 on games where she rests more than 4 days. The more rest, the better Caitlin plays. Well, this is good news to all you Fever and Caitlin Clark fans out there, because more likely, next year she will get this type of rest throughout the season. as this year had a jam-packed schedule due to the Olympics being this summer. The WNBA takes a break to allow their players to go play for their national team. And since Caitlin Clark was not selected for the team this year, she will get a much needed break. And with the hardest part of their schedule being over and a break coming in the middle of her rookie year, we might see a more dominant Caitlin Clark in the second half of the year, which is scary for the rest of the WNBA because she's already putting up some of the best numbers we have ever seen from a rookie. If this is the worst version of Caitlin Clark, a physically drained, overworked, and overpressured version, I think the WNBA is in for a rude awakening. Like Caitlin told her head coach, they woke up a monster. And I think that's what we might see towards the end of the year. But I'm curious, as I presented the information to you now, what do you think about Caitlin Clark? Do you think that she might go down as one of the greatest WNBA players ever? Or do you think she will just be an average WNBA player with a lot of hype behind her? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like and a subscribe. And as always, God bless.